two problems. So I stayed in the woods. This phone, the other phone, I woke up and the touch screen didn't work. So I had to wait for a couple days until I could find something in the cabin that could take the SIM card out. And then I had to come figure out how to activate this phone with that SIM card. We've got a couple of serious problems. One is that this place is horrible. The people are cruel. The people are mean. The people are prejudiced. They're evil. They're angry and malicious. Even the security guard is here. Trying to find a way to get me arrested already. They're trying to get me arrested already. I've been here for 20 minutes. The crows have been screaming. I thought that God would have made this place better by the time I got back. But it looks like they're worse. It looks like they're a lot worse. So, I'm over here. I'm not trespassed from this place. Vermont Technical College has no jurisdiction over here. But because John Michael's mother, when I went over to his house, she insisted that I leave my boots there and I take John Michael's boots. So I've thought about it for a long time. I keep slipping on these boots that have no tread. These are the fucking boots that he slipped and died in on the sidewalk. She gave me the boots that killed him, and she took my nice, expensive boots. Those Rocky boots are rare. They're like $300 for the pair that I had. She took my boots. And she took my pants. And she gave me ones with holes in them, and she insisted it was because they were John Michael's. No, she fucking stole my nice shit. You know what she also said? When we were having dinner at the restaurant, she said, I'm gonna have dinner. Like the whole time she was calling me son in front of everybody. She's like, this is my son, Casey. When we got to dinner, she said, I'm gonna have dinner with my family. Casey, where are you gonna sit? So it's been amazing in the woods. It's been vivid. The forest has sort of been healing me. The birds all came to visit me today. Then I walked out here where the bad people are. And the crows surrounded me, screaming. They fucked with me. I sat here like, is it really just the crows attacking me? Or is it that there's something wrong with my opinion of the crows? So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna imagine that the crows aren't really a threat. And then they all showed up here and screamed at me. Screaming at me. And they really do. It's like you have a bandwidth and a peace of mind, and that's like spiritual energy for them, and they will eat it. They will eat it and take it and fly away and leave everyone they can lifeless. They're just like a walking murder of crows, for real. So after the crows left, now the Matrix has sent, just like last year, these people have not gotten any better, they've actually gotten worse. So I walked maybe 5 feet through the parking lot. 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Across the parking lot. Walking over here. I put my thumb up. It's okay. Security guard is already here. And this is, the security guards were the nice ones, right? No. I forgot. There's a couple of them that were really prejudiced. They're really bad. Like, they're obese, angry country people that have not seen or felt the touch of a woman in so long. They're just like walking piles of rage and low testosterone. The crows are still screaming at me. I thought about coming here at nighttime. Yeah, they're getting closer. They surround you and then they start to do it again. So what did it? They're setting up a demonic ritual to kill me. They're puppeting people. So they consume John Michael's mother. And that's why every time that I felt really happy and elated, she would go like that. And she'd come up to me and she'd get really in my face like that, trying to scare me in her house. And I was just like, maybe she's grieving. And she just kept talking about how she needed to use my love to heal. She said she would walk up to me and said, I needed to heal, so I called you. That's why I had you here. And then she would pretend to yank at my heart like that. And then every time I'd walk away from her, she'd go like, she's a sick person. She's very mentally ill. And everyone at the church service saw it. So I've been thinking about like why, now that I know all these different tactics the demons use, I know why she took my expensive stuff and she's just coveting it in her room because she doesn't have control over Johnny Mike anymore. So she needed somebody else to function. That's how she exists. And then I walked away from her and she went crazy on social media. So just like her, the crows are doing the same thing. Every night I'm battling people I didn't realize were trying to gain control over me. There's that video of the guy that's drinking the cup. I don't know who he is, but he's drinking out of this cup in a podcast. And the guy goes, okay, take a sip. He's like, take a sip. He's like, okay, now put it down. He goes, don't try to control me. Don't try to control me. Now I'm going to hold it here just because you said that. I get it. I get it. It's a subconscious thing. People are playing power games for after the social interaction. Like when you're just hanging out, they pretend like everything's cool and they're aiming to do things that hit you in the time that you're not hanging out, so that they can gain control over you and farm you for spiritual essence. And it's all just to get bitches. I thought it was all just to get bitches, but then with women, they're not trying to get bitches. What are they trying to do? Why won't the crows let me think? See how they're freaking out? They're changing the tone. They're doing frequency manipulation. They're changing the tempo of the rhythm to try to gain control over the environment again. They're swarming me, going in circles. They're going in to get their friends, going in groups. I can see them. They go where I look. Everywhere I look, the crows are now spinning and swirling around. So if I look over here, the crows go over there and get my face. They're portals. They're gateways to another dimension that are siphoning the life force out of this one. They're the tools of the devil. And I don't think the devil's like a horn guy in the basement. But I think that they enjoy how much they can destroy God's purpose. So it seems like they really love to, I don't feel good until I think half the world needs to die. I think we should start with the crows. And then I think it's gonna be like God's chosen warrior stuff. Like I think that there are higher dimensional beings that are keeping track of the actions that everyone does, and then at some point, I pray they're gonna Thanos snap, and they're gonna go. But I will tell you that the crows have been following me all day. And they've been screaming at me, and everywhere I look, if I look over here and I start to bring the attention over this way, I'm just trying to be at peace and enjoy my day. They come over this way, they get their friends together once I can get my power back and move it over this way and take it away from them. See it? I don't know if you can hear it, but they're getting stir crazy. They're acting like crackheads. This is how you see heroin addicts act. When you take away their drugs, they freak out like this. They're circling me. And there's a security guard over there trying to review camera footage to figure out who I am that walked out of the forest and then didn't go on his property just so he can get me in trouble and hurt me. They want to hurt me. Just like the crows, the cops, and the creeps. The cunts and crackheads. Mm. 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 They're not going to stop. They went away for 10 minutes and I was like, did I finally beat them? And they came back with more of them. Hopefully it's the nice guy. It's one of the security guards that knows who I am. But imagine how little they have going on. He was just sitting there watching the camera at the office and then saw me walk across the street. So he had to come get as much as he can because they're going to file a report. Do you know how many kids come here and do burnouts at night? It's been 2 days every night. There's no playgrounds here and there's no activities to do, so they go down to the parking ride and they just rev their engines and screech their tires. Yeah, every time I talk, the crow starts screaming. They're gonna do this until I kill one. It's converting me. All the peace, all the work that I did for the past 2 days sleeping in the forest. And then I came out here and the crows felt it and they swarmed me trying to take it. And then they tried to scare me with the cops. So I don't know if we went really far out into the forest and we killed every crow that bothered us, if there would be a change. Or if this is just like a part of society. Like this is the Matrix. That's a part of like an ancient system. Like these crows are weapons and they're used to keep society in a state of control so they can continue harvesting our life force. But I know that everywhere I move, as soon as I start to feel at peace. So when you feel at peace, you can smell how beautiful the air is. You can enjoy that it's spring and the warm air. You can think about what you're going to do today. You can remember things. You know, like your mind is busy. There's things going on. You're alive. And it seems like there's a system in place to take that from you, or at least from me. And that's why I'm speaking up here and not the natural voice I usually have. Because they want you out of your heart space. So it's psychological warfare to keep you emotionally triggered and in lack. The little birds are going. You see how the crows are screaming? Louder? The little birds, tiny little black-capped chickadees, just flew out to go push the crows back from what they were doing. Because I raised my vibe higher. But yeah, at any point the cops can show up and shoot me. There's a trespassers will be shot sign. There wasn't last year. There's a trespassers will be shot sign. Outside this building is to sew nursing clothes. And they offered me a job last year. But they were too dark. I felt too much darkness in them, and they kind of warned me. They warned me about it. They said I would lose my individuality, in their own words. They said that it would destroy me and that they don't want to see that happen to me. So I stayed in the woods instead. And then I thought that I had friends here because they said that. And so one time I left a chair here and a bag of all my songs, and I was just going to leave it here instead of carry it through the woods. And then they just threw it out on the side of the road, all my stuff. It was like a big fuck you. They didn't like carefully place the bag. They just whipped it out for fun. So I'm like, why does God let places like this exist? Can you see how beautiful it is here? Loca, the manager, went crazy. He kept getting worse and worse until I got kicked out. He was making up problems, and he was coming to attack me in my room, where he would slam on the door. He would rip, as soon as I opened the door, he'd push the door open and he'd get in my face and he'd just start screaming at me. And then finally I lost it and snapped, and I didn't like scream at him back. I just said, how would you like it if I said, go get me a blanket? Just to show him how he talks to people. And then he threw a temper tantrum for about 3 hours just because I said one thing back to him after he screams at me. And it seems like every other guy that sits alone in his room, he screams at. He like goes and targets them specifically. Because I had a conversation with every guy that doesn't talk to anybody else and just stays alone in his room and then goes outside to smoke a cigarette. He said that Ken goes to his room at random times in the middle of the night and day and just screams at them, tries to make them scared, and they don't know what to do because they're homeless and have PTSD. And they all felt like it was some sort of spiritual power play that he was doing to try to destroy their peace of mind and make them afraid all the time. Like after I was worried about freezing to death, like my brother, that I couldn't sleep at night, not to sound like a bitch, but I had felt like I had lost something, like he had taken my power from me, like the crows do and all this. So I couldn't feel comfortable enough to sleep. I was locked in fear. And I think that it's a system, and I think that he gets rewarded by a demon for doing that. I think he feeds something our energy and gets rewarded for it, whether he knows he's doing it or not. And I've had a lot of people tell me that that's what, like I've seen people that do what he does, and they've explained to me that's why they do it. 90% of the world is schizophrenic. They believe in a spiritual world. 90% of the world believes in a God. So whether or not they believe in the God, they might not do the right things. So the next day I woke up the next morning and I saw there was a skull, an animal skull, talking to me in my mind. I went outside where I saw the animal skull, and there was a dead crow. So I took the crow, I bought Dawn dish soap, I bought scrubbies, I spent a lot of money at Walmart to get everything I needed to harvest the feathers. And I took the feathers off the crow, and then somebody on my live stream called the cops because I was taking feathers off a bird, and I was studying the way that you're supposed to do it to honor the creature, because indigenous people believe that the bird died for me. The reason I found the bird and felt called to take the bird and saw the skull was because the bird made a decision to offer itself to me. It was the bird's time to go, and it was going back to spirit, and it made a decision for me to have these feathers. So I was doing it, and then someone from New York City called, which I can get I just have to call them tomorrow and I can get your name. So then, even though I did nothing wrong, nothing illegal, they didn't charge me, I still was kicked out. So I was about 60 miles on the other side of these mountains. Now I'm about 30 miles this way. I was on the other side. When I was showing you how cool the mountains look, that was the other side of these mountains. So my only safe place and my happy place and all my friends and my dieting and my microwave and my nice bed and my South Park at night and my exercise routine and all my hopes and dreams got taken from me by some pussy in New York City and some mentally ill, obese Indian man that works at the front desk that kept having a problem with me because of probably voices in his head. So I've been out here in the woods watching the snow melt, and I spent 2 days out there by myself. I felt really good. Everything was going great. I was excited. I was making myself laugh. I was remembering my past. Things were going really well. And then I came out here, and then immediately I was swarmed by crows, and the security guard blew a gasket, and he's trying to find a way to get me arrested right now. I didn't even talk to him. I just walked over to here on a public road. So he's trying to figure out if I stepped 1 foot into the property line so that he can send me to jail. So now he's trying to figure out where my car is. He thinks that I'm like parked down the road there. He's assuming because of how I look that I'm trying to steal something. Because this place is prejudice. Now I'm gonna have to sit down before he sees me. I think it's a spiritual war. I think that there's something that doesn't want me to be happy and healthy. Like they're targeting my influence. They'd rather me be a negative influence than a positive influence, I think. So they take away my ability to think. And they know I can't walk around with a BB gun on my back to bean these crows when they come to scream at me. And nobody, I think everybody would understand, but I think that people are possessed by an artificial intelligence mind flayer. And that would force them to not understand by locking them in a prison of the mind. So if I'm walking around with a gun on my back, and it's a BB gun, and I say it's literally just because I can't, they'd probably tell me to get a little BB pistol and put it in my backpack, which is fine, but I don't have the kind of money for that, or the range. So I'm praying for money to get a car. That's all it is. If I got a car, I could go anywhere because I could DoorDash. But it might take up a lot of my time trying to come up with money. Like instead of sitting out in the woods, I would be sitting in a car DoorDashing. So I maybe work at FedEx. The world's ending. What? It's 80 degrees. Like for a couple hours, it was 70 degrees, not 80. In what is it, March? It was 70 degrees. This summer's gonna be like 110. One stray cigarette butt, and this whole place is gonna burn down. We don't have fire. We have firefighters that are fat drunks. We don't have firefighters out here. All I'm saying is that I feel like a piece of my heart gets torn out, and then I look up and there's a crow staring at me where I felt it rip out. And then all of a sudden there's like 5 more swirling it like they're playing an energy game to steal power and covet it and then take it away. And maybe the crows are representative of, like people say that cats take on the personality of the people that it lives with. So when you meet a cat, they sort of embody the characteristics that the people are sort of hiding, because they act like like people that are lonely, that like obsess about the cat like it was a person, that sort of like reaching out, that like longing, that fiending, that sort of goes into the cat. I've seen that sometimes, like with drug addicts that have cats, the cats act with this like real darkness in them, even though like they might treat the cat really well. Like I've seen people like Ed Truck that beats his cats, and I've seen people like Jeremy that loves the cat outside the hotel. But either way, they're both addicts, so the cat acts the same way. So maybe the crows are like that. Like the crows attack me in Randolph and Morrisville and the Capitol building, and those were coincidentally the places where the people treated me the worst. So it's either, I don't know if it's cause or effect. Like, are the crows there because the people there are horrible, or are the people there horrible because the crows are there? But either way, when there's nice people in a nice community, the crows never bothered me. I'm talking about like Shelburne, where it's all rich people that are only there a couple times a year. And the people that lived there full time always had a smile on their face and just seemed happy and in a good mood. The crows were never out there. But in the places where the guys would get drunk and go to the boat launch, and they would drive down from Burlington to do drugs with their friends, the crows were right there. In the like outside the churches, when the churches were nice, the crows were never there. When the churches were bad, the crows were outside after the service. So I don't know what they are. Those motherfucking crows. Loca, were you here the last time I lived here last year? I'm hungry. They took my grill. Casey was talking to me about how these guys were mad that the homeless people were using their grill. She thought it was me because of my YouTube, I think. Talking about the grill. Is this charged? No, that's gonna take hours. What's this one at? 11. Loca, we've come full circle. Were you here? I was talking about I can't walk on the trees like I used to because John Michael's mom forced me to take these shitty boots because they were his boots and she wanted me to have them. But she also wouldn't let me take my nice boots. So I realized today that these are the boots that fucking killed him. So his mom, after treating me very poorly, insisted I take the boots that were his cause of death. So I've been walking around and fucking almost face planting. And his mom took my nice expensive boots. She would she would be really nice and call me her son and do a bunch like really caring stuff. And then she would lash out at me. A lot. I think she was possessed. I think she has some problems. She used to be I heard she was a very bad addict, but she goes to AA every day. So I guess alcoholism must be like a really, really tough thing to crack. The crows won't shut up. They're just sitting over there screaming at me every time I feel a good emotion. Every time I feel a little masculine, the crows have to kill me. And then the cravings start. So the crows attack me. No, I don't. I did just buy another pair, but those are nice boots. I don't want ruined. So I'm not gonna do it. I am, however, going to eat my frozen pizza. I'm learning. I'm learning more and more every day. I might not think that I'm learning, but I'm learning. I'm learning how to cultivate inner peace and not be affected by external circumstances. The way I learned how to warm myself up when I was my first winter, this is my fourth winter outside. The way I learned how to warm myself up has evolved into so much more. It used to be that I had to vibrate all the cells in my body at once and like reject the world outside in order to keep a bubble. And the bubble would get me through the night and then I wouldn't freeze to death. But I came pretty close a lot. Then, fuck you. Fuck you. It was an onslaught of negativity trying to destroy my narrative. Like gaslighting. And then it was mostly gaslighting and it was cops. So it was people trying to make me believe I had mental illness and then police targeting me because of the car that I drove and the clothes that I wore. So it was prejudice. It was people having a false opinion of me based off of their perception in a way they couldn't understand where I was coming from because nobody lives the way that I chose and choose to live. They're turning me into a fucking bird. Every time they call, I feel myself becoming more like a bird. The wisdom of the eagle. The wisdom of the eagle is being triggered, and I'm scaring the crows. I'm making them freak out. When I draw my power back to myself, the crows all fly out of the tree and fly in a circle and then land again. Because God comes to you in motion. Karma is actions. God can't really come to you when you're stagnant. You have to be thinking about something. God only comes through to you in motion. And that could be daydreaming, walking. But when you're just sitting around watching TV, There's not a lot of God going on. Delicious food is mine. I don't know. Sometimes I think so. Like there might be something worse that the crows are trying to dull out the frequency to not attract. Like the crows are scared of something. Like Odin. The crows might be worried that if I vibrate too high, the aliens will come down and kill me. Directed energy weapons. I don't know. For some reason happiness is scratching on a chalkboard for them. My own personal happiness causes them to try to burrow their way into my skull and rip out my vibes. And then all of a sudden I start getting cravings and I start becoming somebody I don't recognize. Like my personality was pulled from me, and then when they pulled it in place, somebody that was trailing behind me, like a gang stalker, suddenly becomes in the forefront of my consciousness. Yeah, I don't need to see if that guy's still here. That they've been calling for, how long have I been going now? 36 minutes? They've been screaming for 36 minutes. And they were completely dead quiet until I got here. There was no screaming for days. And then as soon as I got up here and charged my phone, and I remember I ticked a box where I looked off at the mountains with bliss and awe of an appreciation of how far I've come. And then the crows showed up, and they've been here for an hour. And they won't stop. They tried to get up in my face here. They originally were flying here and right there screaming at me. But then I've been fighting back. So I think I have an aura of protection. The birds have been flying around this area, at least, the small birds. I've been protecting the frequency. It wouldn't be a Casey video if there wasn't red trucks and crows. Hey. A baby, it looked like it was supposed to be a large bug, but it wasn't. I don't know what I just saw, but it flew right to left above my head. And I felt a little bitty sense of peace. What I really want, I think, is a dirt bike or a four-wheeler. I want a four-wheeler. Shut up, Boone. Oh no, the crows are flying left to right. Oh no. Oh no, look at them all. They said Autobots, roll out. Decepticons, roll out. Casey told Boone to shut up. Everyone fly away. Oh, look, they're going right above where I was pointing. When I moved from over here to over here, all the crows are now just flying around right where I was looking. And look, now they're coming back. Look, it's like they just want to eat up all my energy by taking my attention away. It's like they want to put me in a subconscious, subliminal box so that they can rape me later. Wow. It's like they want me to feel powerless. So I can't project my sense of comfort over that way. I have to be locked in my body, lifeless and unhappy, in pain. And then they just go right back. What do you think they did for? Why do you think they all just left the tree, flew around where I was looking and happy, talking about how happy I was over this way? just to fly back. They didn't eat any food. They weren't hunting. They're absorbing. No more jacking off. I mean it. This is probably where all the drug deals take place, down there. I just ate half of a... It took me like 15 minutes to eat half of just one of those uncooked pizzas. Yep. Hey, if that pussy from New York wants to call the police again, I found more feathers in the forest. These ones are gray and black, which looks really, I think will look really cool with the crow feathers. Shut the fuck up, birds. This is why I need a crow skull. See, if I had that crow skeleton, I could go, get away from me. Get away from me. And they go, Jinkies, let's get out of here, Scoob. And then they'd all fly away. I didn't get to go skiing this year. My dad is dying. My dad is obsessively drinking every single day, and he has heart problems, so he does not have long for this earth. You know, it's never the people you want to die that go. So, you know, originally I was just making content because I wanted an RV, and I wanted to drive around the country filming a podcast and working on art with my dad before he dies so I can make him proud. That was all I made content for. The only reason I made content was a digital legacy to show people what was happening to me and to find a way to make enough money to make my father proud before he dies. That's all I did it for. Because my dad gets tortured the same way I get tortured. Every day. Non-stop. For our entire life. They took my father from me. The police ripped him out of the car at an illegal traffic stop that they lied about. Look, they're just taunting me at this point. Wait. Did y'all get to see that? I learned some skills, guys. I've learned a trick or two. I've learned a trick or two out here. I know some things, guys. I've got a PhD in being outside. I know what to do when they get really close. Oh, look, a black truck with a red cap. And then look, a gray car. Black, red, and gray. Where's the white one? Oh, there's a white one in my peripheral right there. Shut up. Yeah, I feel hollow. So I'm going to need tomorrow to import all of my things back down here, I think. Chat, let's do a poll. Start poll. Where should I go?
I'm a god. I'm a god. Should I get McDonald's? I don't think so. I need to lose weight. I need to lose weight, guys. If I'm being honest with you, at least the crows keep me on my toes. Black car. That's an expensive car, too. Shout out, Boone. Booner. 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 The bee's knees. Booner. I'm not going to McDonald's, you fuckwads. Don't ask again. What up? Hey, the crows aren't calling. Now that I feel unhappy and depressed and a little suicidal, the crows have left me alone. But when I was optimistic and about to make a change, they screamed at me for 46 minutes, guys. It's been 46 minutes of screaming. They're still doing it. And every time they call, I feel them drain life force a little bit more and more. And then I take it back and they start screaming again. I'm not being disrespectful by being focused. Maybe I'm too powerful. Wild. No, they're just tugging at it now. They're trying to take me away from me. If I had a rifle, a BB rifle, every time they caught, I would hit so they know how it feels. Every time they tried to be happy, I would shoot one in the wing just to show them how it feels. To be afraid all day and to be consumed by the chaos of the crows. It's not looking good for me, guys. It looks like that. I think that they stole it. My blessings. My sense of control over my aura and my peace of mind. This is OG Casey content right here, being raped by crows, while somebody off in the background is maniacally trying to destroy his life. Let's see if he's still here. I didn't deserve. I hope whoever called the cops gets their karma. Because I was about to set up a pull-up and dip bar, and I had spent a month's worth of food stamps on stuff that I could have used the microwave for. I earned that feathers. No, he left. He left and I didn't bring my lighter, and the crows won't shut up. Let me smash. They're saying, no, you guys don't. I don't know how you don't know. I don't know what's wrong with you guys that you're unable to feel this. You know, what deficiency do you guys have that you don't understand what it's like to feel your energy and then feel it get ripped out? I'm glad that you don't understand it, but there's plenty of people that do understand it, and those are the chosen ones. I think you just haven't been outside long enough. You guys haven't been attacked by the unfair justice system. I've been thinking about it for a long time. Do you know how sick the justice system is? The entirety of the justice system is pretend. It's make-believe. All the justice system is people walking around pretending. Like police, their entire being is made up. There's no such thing as a police officer. It's delusion. believing that you're a police officer is a little schizophrenic. You're just a guy. When you start to really believe you're a cop and embody the role that was made by the Freemasons to perpetuate a state of fear over their cattle, that's when you go crazy and you do things like attack Casey just for living outside, because I embody the thing that you're hiding from, which is the reality that you're just a fat, bald person with erectile dysfunction. And I'm a guy that shits out in the forest. We're arch enemies. Reality versus delusion. A guy with nothing who actually has God anointed 33 life path power versus old losers that derive power from a made up thing. The dichotomy. They're going heavy with the no trespasses. Shut up. I got him to shut up. You guys got to see me. At least I got him to shut up for a second, and now they're going crazy again. They're coming in hordes and waves to destroy my happiness. This isn't for people like me. This is for drug addicts. For people like drug addicts. It has nothing to do with Casey, who just uses the outlet and sits at peace. Casey does nothing wrong, man. He's just trying to exist and find a better way of life and teach it to the masses. And what he's found is that there's a system in place to destroy that. What he realized is that it's a stage and a game, and we're being farmed for our energy. And you can get there by going outside. When you free yourself from responsibilities, the only thing you have is the Matrix trying to attack you. See, I just took my power back and they're coming back. Look, you saw me wave my arm? What the fuck? They're fighting each other. Are you fucking or fighting? They just fell down an entire tree. What the hell? One of them came at me and one of them stopped the one that came at me. And then they fell down the tree, and now that one's hiding behind the tree staring at me. I think he just left. What the hell? Y'all saw that? Did y'all see that? Y'all see that, man? I just saw two crows fucking fighting in the air and they fell. Why do I feel that? You know what? Nope. Stop it. Get some help. I felt an Aquarius and now I saw a blue car. And then I felt like I had to drive away the Aquarius, and then a red car went chasing the blue car away. I feel the Sarlacc pit of Randolph now trying to guide me to McDonald's. And I didn't feel any Sarlacc pit until the crows got here. How many hours can Casey and the crows go back and forth just talking shit to each other? It's been an hour.
Yeah, so one of the crows was very mad at Casey and came at him, and then the other crow chased him down, stopped him halfway, and then knocked him out of the sky. Probably because if the crow had come at me, I would have grabbed it like a chicken and then broke its neck. I would have just smacked it. I would have grabbed it, and then while it's clawing at my coat, I'm just slamming its head against this until poof. He's nothing but feathers. I'm a magician, everybody. Fuck off. I can't yell even though I need to yell. You know what it probably is? Oh, fuck you. Don't do it. Goddamn, fuck you, leave me alone. Do nothing wrong. It's not my fault. Crackheads are rampaging through Vermont. Maybe it's necessary because of all the racist, rapist police. Tell you what, though, when Casey drove me through Randolph the last time we were here, I saw many different people of color, whereas last year I saw no people of color whatsoever. So I think New York City is being, I think they're evacuating the cities. A lot of people are leaving and moving into the small towns. So there's going to be a big change. Or they're just in college, I don't know. That's true. Maybe I didn't see them because they were in school. And now that it's been a year, maybe they're graduated, so I saw more walking around. That might be the case. I don't know. But the crows aren't going to stop. And I have to be here. My phone's at 10%. I'm going to have to be here for all night in order to charge my stuff. I don't know. I think I should probably leave tomorrow to collect my things. I have to be back in Morrisville on the 26th. So I have 10 days until I have to be back up there for court for taking a $7.99 propane tank that I gave them $15 worth of propane tanks. I bought double and brought it to them, and they wouldn't take it. And then I have to argue the fact that I was brutalized by the cops for no reason. Excessive use of force, intimidation, harassment, stalking. I want to say they were doing unlawful mischief, but I don't know what that means. But yeah, the crows destroyed me. I feel lifeless and empty again. With just a little bit of God's protection. It's going to take hours to charge that. I don't want to get in the habit of going to get McDonald's.
And I have soda back at the tent. The whole thing is, if I could use my mind, I know I'm capable of such amazing feats. Like, I know the music I make is pretty good. And I know that my daydreams and the content that I make blows me away. And all the people in my life that kind of spend their life consuming content really like the things that I come up with. And it's not like the stuff went away. It's that they're constantly making me believe that I'm not capable of utilizing my knowledge. Like, I go to think, and then there's loud noises, crows, cops, creeps, cunts, crackheads, the Matrix. And then after that gets done, where they're screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming, and it doesn't stop, and I get hurt, violently hurt, for sometimes days, and then I'm in jail for days for nothing, and I have to process the unfairness of what and try to figure out why that just happened to me. Why was I trespassed for walking through Vermont campus? And then why did the police take my car so that I would be forced to be outside, like a subtle way to murder me in a hurricane? I was the only car that was taken out of the park and ride. There were other people living there, but they took my car. After I called them and said that in a couple of days when the storm goes over, I'm going to sell it. So they took my car and left me stranded in a hurricane. After someone at the barn down the road here lied about me threatening to kill her with a hatchet, and the cops tried to illegally search me, and I stood up for myself, and they swerved their car at me, almost hitting me, speeding by me on the highway, walking back, and then they slammed the trespass on my window, trying to break my window, and then they stole things out of my car. So I was forced to go into the shed up there. Because I was, in hurricanes, trees get knocked down. There was a tornado coming. So, and I wasn't the only, what I'm saying is I was the only car that was broken down. Yeah, I'm not going to Morrisville. Yeah. So I'm back to hating all of you. Go fuck yourselves.